Importance of Preamble in Constitutional Law of India. Historical background. The Preamble is based on the Objectives Resolution, which was drafted and moved in the Constituent Assembly on 13 December 1946, accepted on 22nd January 1947, and adopted by the Constituent Assembly on 26 November 1949, coming into force on 26 January 1950. B.R. Ambedkar said that the preamble, it was indeed a way of life which recognizes liberty, equality, and fraternity as the principles of life, and which cannot be divorced from each other. Liberty cannot be divorced from equality, equality cannot be divorced from liberty. Nor can liberty and equality be divorced from fraternity. Without equality, liberty would produce the supremacy of the few over the many. Equality without liberty would kill individual initiative. Without fraternity, liberty and equality could not become a natural course of things. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said that preamble is a key to open the minds of the maker of constitution. That means what is the objective or intention in the minds of the makers can be known by reading the preamble. Integral part of the Indian Constitution. The Supreme Court of India originally stated in the Beruba case presidential reference that the preamble is not an integral part of the Indian Constitution. Therefore, it is not enforceable in a court of law. The same court in the 1973 Keshavananda case overruled earlier decision and recognized that the preamble may be used to interpret ambiguous areas of the Constitution where differing interpretations present themselves. In 1995 case of Union Government versus LIC of India, the Supreme Court once again held that the preamble is an integral part of the Constitution. It said that preamble is part of the Constitution and is subject to the amending power of the Parliament as any other provisions of the Constitution, provided the basic structure of the Constitution is not destroyed. It has been clarified by the Supreme Court of India that being a part of the Constitution, the preamble can be subjected to constitutional amendments exercised under Article 368. The basic structure cannot be altered. It is considered as the heart and soul of the Constitution. Amendment during Indian emergency. As originally enacted, the preamble described the state as a sovereign democratic republic to which the terms secure, secular, and socialist were later passed by the Parliament during the emergency in the 42nd Amendment. The preamble was amended only once on 18th December 1976. During the emergency in India, the Indira Gandhi government pushed through several changes in the 42nd Amendment of the Constitution. Through this amendment, the words socialist and secular were added between the words sovereign and democratic, and the words unity of the nation were changed to unity and integrity of the nation. In the year 1994, during the S.R. Bommai versus Union of India case, Supreme Court of India held that secularism is a part of the basic structure doctrine. Interpretation. Sovereign. Sovereign means the independent authority of a state, that it has the power to legislate on any subject and that it is not subject to the control of any other state or external power. According to the preamble, the Constitution of India has been pursuance of the Solomon Resolution of the people of India to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republic, and to secure well defined objects set forth in the preamble. Sovereignty denotes supreme and ultimate power. It may be real or normal, legal or political, individual or pluralistic. In monarchies, sovereignty was vested in the person of monarchs, but in republican form of governments, which mostly prevail in the contemporary world, sovereignty is shifted to the elected representatives of the people. According to D.D. Basu, the word sovereign is taken from Article 5 of the Constitution of Ireland. Sovereign or supreme power is that which is absolute and uncontrolled within its own sphere. In the words of Cooley, a state is sovereign when there resides within itself supreme and absolute power, acknowledging no superior. Acknowledging no superior. Sovereignty Sovereignty, in short, means the independent authority of a state. It has two aspects, external and internal. External sovereignty or sovereignty in international law means the independence of a state of the will of other states in our conduct with other states in the Committee of Nations. Sovereign in its relation between states and among states signifies independence. The external sovereignty of India means that it can acquire foreign territory and also cede any part of the Indian territory subject to limitations imposed by the Constitution. On the other hand, internal sovereignty refers to the relationship between the states and the individuals within its territory. Internal sovereignty relates to internal and domestic affairs and is divided into four organs, namely the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, and the administrative. Though India became a sovereign country on 26 January 1950, having equal status with the other members of the international community, she decided to remain in the Commonwealth of Nations. Pandit Nehru declared that India will continue her full membership of the Commonwealth Games of Nations and her acceptance of the king as the symbol of the free association of the independent nations. As such, the head of the Commonwealth, her membership of the Commonwealth of Nations and that of the United Nations organization do not affect our sovereignty to any extent. It is merely voluntary association of India and it is open to India to cut off this association at her will and that it has no constitutional significance. Socialist. Before the term was added by the 42nd Amendment in 1976, the Constitution had socialist content in the form of certain directive principles of state policy. The term socialist used here refers to democratic socialism, that is, achievement of socialist goals through democratic, evolutionary, and non violent means. Essentially, it means that when wealth should be shared equally by society through distributive justice, not concentrated in the hands of few, and that the government should regulate the ownership of the land and industry to reduce socio-economic inequalities. Secular means that the relationship between the government and religious groups are determined according to the constitution and the law. It separates the power of the state and religion by the 42nd Amendment on December 18, 1976. The term secular was also incorporated in the preamble. There is no difference of religion Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, Christianity, and Islam, are equally respected, and moreover, there is no state religion. All the citizens of India are allowed to profess, practice, and propagate their religions. Explaining the meaning of secularism as adopted by India, Alexander Oviks has written, secularism is a part of the basic structure of the Indian constitution, and it means equal freedom and respect for all religions. Democratic. The people of India elect their governments by the system of universal adult franchise, popularly known as one person, one vote. One person, one vote. This representative form of government is suitable for governing the country because of its huge and diverse population. Every citizen of India, 18 years of age or older and not otherwise debarred by law, is entitled to vote. In case of Mohan Lal Tripathi versus District Magistrate, the term democracy was discussed, and it was held that democracy is a concept of political philosophy, an ideal which is practiced by many nations that are culturally advanced and politically mature via resorting to governance by representative of people directly or indirectly. The word democratic refers not only to political democracy but also to social and economic democracy. The main reason to incorporate democracy is to provide freedom to the people to choose their own representative and to save them from rulers. Republic. In a republican form of government, the head of the state is elected and not a hereditary monarch. Thus, this word denotes a government where no one holds public power as a priority right, as opposed to a monarchy, in which the head of a state is appointed on a hereditary basis for life or until abdication. A democratic republic is an entity in which the head of a state is elected directly or indirectly for a fixed tenure. Thus, India has a president who is indirectly elected and has a fixed term of office. There is an absence of a privileged class, and all public offices are open to every citizen without discrimination. Justice, stands for rule of law, absence of arbitrariness, and a system of equal rights, freedom, and opportunities for all in a society. India seeks social, economic, and political justice to ensure equality to its citizens. Social justice. Social justice means the absence of socially privileged classes in the society and no discrimination against any citizen on grounds of caste, creed, color, religion, gender, or place of birth. India stands for eliminating all forms of exploitations from the society. Next, economic justice. Economic justice means no discrimination between man and woman on the basis of income, wealth, and economic status. It stands for equitable distribution of wealth, economic equalities, the end of monopolistic control over means of production and distribution, decentralization of economic resources, and the securing of adequate opportunities to all for earning their living. Next, political justice. Political justice means equal, free, and fair opportunities to the people for participation in the political process. It stands for the grant of equal political rights to all the people without discrimination. The Constitution of India provides for a liberal democracy in which all the people have the right and the freedom to participate. refers to the freedom on the activities of Indian nationals. This establishes that there are no unreasonable restrictions on Indian citizens in terms of what they think, their manner of expressions, and the way they wish to follow up their thoughts in action. However, liberty does not mean freedom to do anything, and it must be exercised within the constitutional limits. Equality. The term equality means the absence of special privilege to any section of society and the provision of adequate opportunity of all the individuals without any discrimination. Fraternity. This refers to a feeling of brotherhood and sisterhood and a sense of belonging with the country among its people. The preamble declares that fraternity has to assure two things: the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. The word integrity has been added to the preamble by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment 1976.